It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk money and taxes. And even though it's not tax season, we certainly will give you the best tax advice, especially if you're one of those people that have just gotten love letters this week, or you're still waiting for your refund, or you got 2 refunds, or you didn't get any refund. Anyway, we're here to help you. If you are one of those lucky souls that have gotten a letter from the IRS or state of New York, this is where you can get your free tax advice. We are going to talk about taxes, but we're also going to talk about Mother's Day and things that mothers do for us. And if you're somebody whose mom is still alive, I'm very lucky. My mom is alive and kicking. Hallelujah. And I want you to put on your thinking cap and think about what is the greatest thing your mom ever taught you, because moms are a wealth of knowledge. I will tell you, my mom has always taught me to do things way in advance. Like if she was having a dinner party on Saturday, we set the table on Tuesday. I mean, we were ready in advance. And I will tell you, that's one of the things that I think that has made EG Tax so successful. We try to get way ahead of the curve. And that's why we're able to give you great tax help even before everybody else gives you great tax help. And I'm joined in studio with Christopher Fabian. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Esther.
What's the greatest thing your mom ever taught you?
Well, taught me or did for me? Because the greatest thing she ever
did,
greatest thing she ever did was introduce me to my beautiful wife.
Aw, that's so nice. Well,
So-
that's very nice. Wow, you bought like 63 points.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Tiffany
getting a little
Fabian.
teary-eyed.
What's the best thing that your mom ever did for you?
Well,
Top that one.
I know. Well, actually, my mom and his mom introduced us. So, but my mother was a planner. She said, make a plan and stick to it. She also is a big proponent of budgets. Make a budget. And then also, I remember I had one of my first jobs at a restaurant, and even if you were part-time, you could join the 401k. So at a young age, she was like, join the 401k. And I was like, oh, that's so silly. I'm going to miss that part of my paycheck. And she said, you won't miss it.
But the thing is, see, if you don't die, you're really glad that you had that money set aside.
Right.
Because whether you like it or not, retirement does look you in the face, right?
It does.
So we want to talk about moms. What is the greatest thing your mom ever taught you? What's the greatest thing your mom ever did for you? Because tomorrow's Mother's Day, and kind of wax nostalgic. Maybe your mom's been gone for a while. This gives you an opportunity to give a tribute to your mom. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And Chris, before we talk to people on the phone about what their mom did for them, and we also want to talk about things that moms taught you. I was looking online at all these websites, motherly wisdom, like never go out in the car unless you have clean underwear on, things like that. But what's happening at the office? What kind of things are we seeing from the IRS and the state of New York now?
I just talked to a client the other day, and he still hasn't gotten his New York State refund, and he said they're doing this on purpose. I said, no, anything beyond April 15th, they have to pay you interest. And so
No, June 1st.
June 1st, forgive
June 1st.
me. And
Yeah.
so they're verifying his itemized deductions, and they want him to send proof of his property taxes and his work expenses.
Which, let's face it, it's their way of slowing up the refund.
Right.
Yep. I mean, that's the big thing. New York State slowing up people's refunds. We probably have 20 calls a week right now where you go online to New York State's website and it says, it could take up to 90 days to process your refund, and you call New York State and they just say, well, we're investigating it. Right. And some of these people are just a W-2.
On a W-2, right?
So yep. So they're just slowing. IRS, you're starting to see a couple little healthcare people with 1095 letters if you didn't do it right or didn't report it.
I got a 2011 letter from somebody in New Jersey, and so that the statute of limitations is 3 years. So they got it in on April 15, 2015, and it was regarding a 2011. So I'm getting different states. I also got a letter from the federal government. They wanted somebody to prove their college cost, and Schedule C for 1099Ks, which is the credit card that you get on your Schedule Cs. And so that wasn't reported. And so I got a letter from the IRS saying you reported some of your earnings, but not that portion of it, right?
Yep. So a wide range, but, we're here to help people. So
That's
even
true.
if...
And I'll tell you, when you get a letter, before you, I will tell you, I got a letter myself this week. The IRS did not forget me. And it was on a 1099K. It was the credit card money that we got for EG Tax. Well, when we were setting up our American Express, they used my Social Security number. And so on the corporation, of course, we included all of our credit cards, including American Express, and but I didn't know American Express used the wrong number, and so the IRS sent me a bill for $17,000, which does set you back a little bit. And we got the correction then from American Express. They put the EIN number on. We showed that we put it on the corporate return, and away it goes. But you have to do that, otherwise you can end up paying money that you don't owe.
Right. So American Express billed you on your social versus your tax
they
ID
put them
number.
rather than the corporate EIN number. So they corrected the 1099K and sent that to me. I sent that off to the IRS with the proof, and that'll be that. But I'll tell you, that's what happens all the time.
Yep.
You have to remember, it's not just your tax return that you did correctly. It is relying upon the people that wrote. That gave you the information. If they made a mistake or if they put it under the wrong box, then the IRS doesn't know anything except what they've been told, and so they'll issue you a bill.
Right.
And one other thing we're seeing a lot of right now is Americans living over in Canada who are now filing their U.S. return and doing the FBAR forms. We're here, and they...
What does FBAR mean, Chris?
I can't say it on the air. Financial banking account reconciliation.
Right. And so if you are a U.S. citizen living outside the United States and you have income in a foreign country like Canada, we don't think of Canada as a foreign country, but it is, and in excess of $10,000 during the year, not the interest you got, but the actual value of the account over $10,000, then you have to do that FBAR report.
Right. And it can be a pain, but it's got to get done. You don't want to get hit with the penalty.
Right, and the penalty is substantial. It's up to $10,000. So you want to make sure you do your FBAR, and EG Tax will help you with that. So if you're a Canadian and you're just going off the 401 right now because you're thinking, oh my gosh, that happened, that's me. You can call EG Tax, who will help you do the FBAR. It's really just an information form that the IRS wants to track where their U.S. income is, because if you're a U.S. citizen, the only thing you can do is either close those accounts, rescind your citizenship, or do the FBAR report, right?
I had a Canadian,
come back home.
Yeah, I had a Canadian that I did the return for this year, and he's a U.S. citizen who lives in Canada who's married to a Canadian citizen, and he inherited a lot of money, and there was like $500,000 taxable. And so we did them as married filing joint this year, and he said, geez, when I did my return on some software, I did it as married filing separate. And so I did it as joint, and even though he's married to a Canadian person, and he was tickled pink. So get the advice, because there's always
it's just thousands of dollars.
Just thousands of dollars.
I mean, what the heck?
Right.
You would never let anybody rip you out of $10, but on our tax returns, we let them take thousands of dollars.
Right.
So, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. What's the greatest thing you ever learned from your mom? And you can kind of do it as a tribute, or any tax or financial related question, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We're going to break for a break, and we'll be right back on the other side. This is Esther Gulius, the tax lady. And Tyler, who could that be?
That is Group Love.
Group Love.
Well, wait, Tyler,
Goodness.
is that what the best advice your mother gave you, to pay attention to songs, and so you can
It is.
stump
She
us
said
on
make sure you can find the most obscure songs to reference for Esther Julia's show when you grow up and you get a radio producer's job.
What is the best advice your mom ever gave you, though?
Pay attention.
Yeah.
It's the small details that are the most important.
Actually, at the beginning of tax season, my mother made that same comment to me. She goes, "You really have to start paying closer attention." That's really good advice. Yeah, because Esther always says the small things will gobble you up, right?
True. I
Yeah.
mean, it is true. I mean, if you don't pay attention to details, the details will ultimately get you. You know, I mean, it's great to have, you know, I mean, a lot of us know these big picture people, you know, that's great. But you go into, they have a house, but it's falling apart because that was a detail, you know.
Right.
So details are really important. All right, here's a list of some of the things that I got from the internet that moms do. Number one, don't throw your money out the window. And it's interesting because that sounds like such a cliche, but we do. You know, we shop as a hobby. It said on this website, how many black tops did you have to have, how many pairs of shoes and purses. And, you know, if you could only convert that stuff to cash, it would solve many of our financial problems. So, you know, Chris, did your mom ever tell you not to throw money out the window? Your mom is a great saver.
My mom is an awesome saver. I mean, her line, I remember her line, and I'm sure a lot of other people's mom, money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have one of those trees in our backyard. So, no, we're not getting that.
Right.
So, yes.
All right, and the other thing, number two, it says marry a rich person. Now, it's really interesting because I think that's what moms would really like. And I think back in my generation, when ladies didn't make their own income and you really needed a financially stable gentleman to marry you, that was probably more prevalent. But I think that in today's world, you'd really just need to realistically look at your mate. If they aren't working, that should be like a red flag.
And even Chris and I have a teenage daughter. We have a teenage daughter and a 20-year-old. And you want to look at what their parents do for a living and their standards and what they aspire to be.
You know that old cliche, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's a sad thing, but it's really true.
Yeah,
So that's number two. Number three, when you're getting your own apartment, this is things maybe you can tell for your kids or your grandkids. Get a roommate. You don't have to go it on your own. I mean, you don't. It's expensive. I can remember one of our. I have 5 children, by the way. One of our daughters moved out when she was before she got married. She wanted to try it on her own, and we didn't want to burn any bridges, and so she moved out. So about 2 months after she's gone, she says to us, "Do you know how expensive it is to be on your own?" And hello, yes, but and then ultimately she came back home.
Right.
So it's interesting, and one of the things that has become very popular is Airbnb. Are you guys familiar with that?
Is that a place to find apartments?
No. Airbnb is on the internet. It's a bed and breakfast that you can register. It's AIRBNB. And you can register if you have a room, like several of my clients had rented out their house, their room, a couple rooms in their house, to people coming into Niagara Falls, and they rented it out for like $100 a night.
That's a great.
So Airbnb is another way you can make some extra money.
Sounds like a kid scheme when their parents go away.
And then not to mention, won't they, if they get to take off some expenses
Right.
on
Right.
their tax
The whole
return
thing
and claim
is,
the money they make?
For those of you that are internet savvy, go to AIRBNB, and you're going to find a list of people that are in popular areas. And I know you might think, oh, Buffalo's not popular, but it is.
Oh,
I mean, we're right by Niagara Falls.
We were downtown last night, me and the kids and Chris, and it's beautiful to see the Renaissance.
revitalization.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
So anyway,
amazing.
so you can rent out a room or two in your home, and obviously then all the upkeep of doing that room, redoing the linens, exterminating for the bed bugs, things of that nature, will be deductible.
Well, or
But
don't.
you'd be surprised how much. I had a client made $8,000 doing Airbnb last year.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, don't forget also, if you rent out your personal home less than 2 weeks out of the year, that's tax-free income.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. If there was a big, like for instance in Rochester, those of you people that are listening in Rochester, when you have the PGA come in or the LPGA come in, you could move out of your house. People could rent it from the PGA for less than 2 weeks, and the entire income is tax free.
Correct.
We're just filled with all these little tidbits here. The other thing is, can you really cut the apron strings? And that goes for moms and dads right now. Will you really let your child go off on their own?
Right. Sort of like
that means you got to let them sink sometimes.
Right. Right. And you always say that you don't want to enable somebody. And then just like you were talking about the one daughter, it's really hard, but sometimes those are the life lessons that need to be learned.
It's true. Yep. It's true. I mean, sometimes we want to rescue our children,
Right.
Least of all me, I will tell you. The next thing it says from moms, pay your bills. Another thing moms say, pay your bills. Yeah. But the thing is, if you can't pay your bills, you got to ask, why can't you pay your bills? What are you spending your money on?
Right, and that's where that Chris always says that nasty word starts with the letter B, right?
Yeah,
the budget.
The budget.
Right.
I mean, you see some people who drive a BMW. They lease a BMW because they like the status that the BMW has, but they can't afford it. They should be driving a Chevy and save that $200 and put that $200 to other bills.
I will tell you, back when I started EG Tax 25 years ago, we left a salary position at a major tax firm, and we went off on our own, and we had no income. And so we sold our expensive house, our expensive cars, we sold our boat, and we bought one used car, and we bought one cheap house. And that's what we could afford to do until we were able to build up the business.
That's called a sacrifice.
Those are hard decisions you have to make.
Right. It's a big sacrifice. And I think you always tell the story of your kids saying, "What are you doing to us?" Right?
Right. They said I was moving them to the ghetto. But it was Clarence. It was the ghetto in Clarence.
Yeah, but
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930. Look, we know it's 90 degrees, but you must have something to say good about what your mom said to you when you were growing up. So what's the greatest thing you learned from your mom? Are you getting any letters from the IRS? Any questions that you might have about your finances? 803-0930, star 930 on cell phone. Chris, I stepped on you.
I was going to give out the phone number too. So
and then I also wanted to say, going back to paying your bills, it's such a windfall. It's such a trickle down theory, because my gosh, if you don't pay your bills, when you go to get car insurance, your car insurance is more. When you
you can't, we live in an electronic age,
right?
And do you know many employers check your credit before they hire you?
Yep.
So if you aren't paying your bills, it means maybe you can't get that good job. If you aren't paying your bills, you
can't
have a
refinance.
higher insurance rate.
Yep.
I mean, it goes through everything. And is it, a budget does not sound very sexy, but I will tell you, at the end of the budget, when you have enough money to pay your bills and you are then going on a solid foundation for your future, that's really what you need to build your future on.
Right.
Okay, then the other thing that the article said here is like what you do if you can, but if not, still get a job.
Right.
How many of my clients, they're waiting for their children to get a job that they like, and in the meantime, the kids are sitting around the house doing nothing. Hey, back in the day, my dad said, "Go get a job."
Right.
And I have to tell you, that's how I got into taxes. My future sister-in-law wanted to take a tax course, and I didn't want to take a tax course. But what ended up was that I loved what I did, because, a young person only has so much life experience, and they don't know what they're going to like. And so the more you do, the more it adds to your it's like tasting new food. You just don't know. It doesn't sound like you're really going to like squid, but until you taste it, you never know. You might really like it. So, I mean, if worse comes to worse, go get a job. You'd be surprised what can happen in a job as long as you're there. Maybe they'll promote you. Maybe you'll end up with being the president or a vice president. You never know till you try.
Yep.
Sorry, Chris, you go first.
I was going to say, look at what your kid's going to school for. I mean, how many times do we see clients whose children are in college and their degree is like ancient Roman history or, something so obscure that the job field isn't there. And they're going and they're paying $40,000 a year for this education. And what are they going to do when they're out of college? We don't know.
See, but the whole thing is that really, I think that parents nowadays, and I'm guilty of it as much as anybody, you want your kids to like you. My mom and dad really didn't care if I really liked them at all. They were going to point me down the way that they thought I should go. And, kind of as you go through the school of hard knocks, what you say is, holy moly, they were right, because life is not easy. And life is tough. And so kind of what you're saying is Junior may want to go to get the degree in foreign history of the ancient mariners, but there's like very few jobs there, correct?
Yeah. And another thing that I always say to people, I have a friend named, well, I'll leave him nameless, and he always he's waiting for the right job. I said, there's something to be said for just working.
Getting a job.
Just working, because when you're sitting in front of that person that you're interviewing and they see
we
that
have to break for the news. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 8030930, star 930 on cell phone. See you on the other side. I know this one. The Beatles.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. I get one a week. Right, Tyler?
Next one's going to be tough.
What? You're going to have like the Goo Goo Guys instead of the Goo Goo Dolls,
If a band exists, I'll try to find it.
I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. 8030930, 8030930. Now, don't you guys want to say something nice about your mom? What's the best thing you learned from your mom? What's the best advice she ever gave you? Because tomorrow's Mom's Day, and it gives you a chance to give her an atta girl. If she's still here, if she's not, if she's up in heaven, she'll hear what you have to say. Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, star 930 on our cell phone. And we have Tiffany Fabian and Christopher Fabian here in studio with you. We're talking about things that moms give you from the internet, some stuff that they said, best advice that mom gave. Another thing is moms always tell you to work hard, right?
Yep.
Work
They
hard,
sure
no matter
do.
what.
That's right.
How many times did your mom say to you, get off the couch and clean your room?
Yep. And I remember also my dad worked many shifts in an automotive place, and he was always working. And now I look back, and I'm that age, and I see why he was always working.
It's called paying your bills, right?
That's right.
But it's really important. I mean, sometimes people just fail to succeed because they fail to try.
That's right.
I mean, it's much easier to sit on your duff.
Yep.
And that's what we see a lot out there nowadays, unfortunately, because, get that paycheck from the government instead of getting...
You can make it, right? I mean, really, our welfare system is enviable across the world. When you can really make it not working, and I'm sure that many of the people that are on social services, Social Security, social services, they need it. You have to be able to help those people, but there's a lot of people that really don't need it, and many times they're working under the table, which income is not even taxed. The other thing is, it says in here, do you need to change careers?
Right.
Sometimes your mom will push you and say, why don't you go back to school? Why don't you get a degree in nursing? Why don't you go get a degree in accounting?
Why don't you go take a tax course?
Right. Why don't you do something else to help yourself?
Right.
And those are things that you should pay attention to.
Yeah. I admire you. There was somebody here who used to work at the station, and you swiped him up, and he became an accountant, and he's discovered the career of his life. And
that's true.
Steve Jacobson.
Right?
Yep.
And he went off to
New Jersey,
and he's got a love of his life and everything. But he had a great personality.
Right.
He was very smart, and so we taught him taxes, and so now he's working at a CPA firm.
Right. But it's never too late to change your mind and reassess and reevaluate and see what the course you're on.
Okay, so we have some people that are going to give us some information, best things that their moms ever taught them.
Yep, we're going to go to Cindy in Depew.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, Esther, my mom told me this on the first day of kindergarten.
What's that?
She said, I came home crying, and she said, not everyone's going to like you, and you're not going to like everyone.
That's right. I've
And
repeated
I've lived
that.
my whole life with that.
And that's really true, isn't it? I mean, you think about that. Isn't that poignant wisdom?
Yep.
And
Sure.
you know, as a little 5-year-old, you probably thought, yeah, what do you know, mommy?
Right.
But it's true.
I've echoed that same sentiment because I tend to have a really soft heart, and so I think about that. Mama said, "Not everybody's going to like you." You know. Yep.
Yeah, it works.
It does. It does. And and then this thing is, I try to teach that to my kids too because it's great advice.
It is.
Yep.
Is your mom still alive, Cindy?
No, she passed a few days before her 95th birthday.
Oh,
So she had a long,
thank
good
you
life.
for remembering her on our show.
Okay. You
All
too.
right, have a
thanks.
great day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Bye.
All right, and we got somebody else here going to give some kudos to their mom.
It's Tony from Clarence.
Hey, Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Hey,
It's
Tony.
a sad day when I think of it. My mother's been dead for over 20 years now. She suffered immeasurably, and all of her sisters, they all died of the same thing, breast cancer.
She must have had the BRCA.
There were 5 sisters,
Wow.
all dead from the same thing.
So
And
what
the
did your mom
saddest
teach
thing
you,
for
Tony?
me-
What did your mom teach you?
Oh, she taught me quite a bit, and one of those things was never buy anything that you can't afford to pay for with cash.
That's
Boy,
good.
and, you know, great.
And
That is
secondly-
great wisdom, isn't
And
it?
also, she that people appreciate someone who truly listens to what they say. That is to understand what they're saying, because there are very few people that really have good listening qualities and characteristics today. Everybody's putting out all these different things. I'm not of this age, Esther. You know that. I have no computers, cell phones, etc. If I have to talk to someone, I do it either on the phone or face to face. So I have to listen. And my mother was quite adamant about that because, you know, even when you were a child, she'd say, "Don't touch that," you know, or you know, where did you get that candy from, or where did you get this from, you know? I had to listen, you know, and if I was wrong, I had to tell her I was. And she said, well, go back and pay for it if you took it, even a penny. So she was very strict about that, and I miss her terribly.
How many
And,
kids did she have, Tone? How many kids?
Just myself and my brother, and I'm in my, I'm 67 now.
You're
so.
over 59, right, Tony?
Well, I think, and I think,
59 and a half, Esther.
and I think
And
that
hold
goes
it.
back to what Tyler said. Tyler said his mom said to pay attention, and when your mom said to really intently listen to somebody, that's paying attention and paying attention to what do they have to say.
Hey, thanks, Tony. Have a great day.
And I think
Stay warm.
another thing, Esther, my mother always said, is when you're late for something, that means that you think your time is more important
valuable
than
the
their
other
time.
people.
Yep, and I thought
Right.
that was really good, sound
It's
advice.
true. You should care enough to be on time. And
Right.
I know that's how we feel in the office, too. When we're running, when I have an appointment, if my appointment's at 12:30, then I think it's my responsibility to see the appointment at 12:30.
You are
I
really
don't think
good
that
at
they
that.
should wait till 1:30 for a 12:30 appointment. And I have to say that's one of my pet peeves at doctors' offices, is that somehow a doctor feels like, you get to wait.
For a
And
long
I
time.
I think that's not good. That's not a good goal to
Aspire
attain
to.
So I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, kind of doing a tribute to moms. What's the greatest thing your mom ever taught you? What's the best thing you ever learned from her? You can give us a call in studio, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Kind of wanted to switch gears. A lot of people don't know that they can get some fairly good interest rates, and I just wanted to tell everybody the highest CD rate right now is 2.27%. That's 2.27%. Now, that is not a lot, but that's better than 0.005% that many of the banks are paying you. And you have to go to CIT Bank online. CIT Bank is FDIC insured, and you will get 2.27% on a 5-year CD, and it's FDIC insured. The best mortgage rate is 3.5% or 2.7% on a 2.7% on a fixed rate 15-year loan. And I'm going to tell you, if your mortgages are over that amount, you have to go look in the mirror and say, why am I really giving this bank the money that they're not entitled to?
Right.
Because if you just simply refinance, you will save thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you don't know how to do it, who will help them, guys?
We will.
And then Esther and Chris, do you know anything? I've heard lately about the PMI, the amount that you have to charge. They charge is going down, or the ratio, or nothing. You haven't heard anything like that.
Well, PMIs are deductible, so they should reduce the PMI.
Right.
All right, we got Joan from Amherst holding. How can we help you, Joan?
Hi, how are you?
Good. You got some good news to tell about Mom?
I certainly do. My mother was born in 1899.
Oh, my gosh.
So yesterday would have been her 116th birthday.
Wow.
But she didn't live that long, of course. But here's the thing that she told me that I will always remember, and it served me so well. It's also served my daughters well. Hard work never killed anybody.
Amen. Isn't that the truth? And I want to tell you, when you're in the middle of your hard work, you think it's going to kill you, but it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, well, you think, but it never has.
That old adage, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger?
Stronger, exactly. So I think about her all the time, and I think of all the good advice that she gave me, and I've passed it on to my 2 girls, who are both very self-sufficient.
Well, happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you so much, and the same to you.
Thank you, dear.
I'll never forget, my dad said to me one time, I was working really, really hard, and I was actually pregnant. He said, "Oh my gosh, young lady," he said, there's people out in the rice paddies that are hoeing down fields, and they're not complaining, and they're 9 months pregnant.
Having them babies out in the field, right?
He said, "Shut up." Okay, I got it.
Good news for dads.
Right.
Other one, I want to tell you this too, that if you have a used car loan that you're paying over 1.99%, you can refinance that at PenFed Credit Union to 1.99%, and there's no charge to do it. That's another thing you should do when you're looking at your finances. Right?
That's right.
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, kind of doing a tribute to moms. Taxes are always on the table. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a short break. We'll see you on the other side with your calls.
The Replacements.
Younger than me. What can it be?
No guesses?
No.
Come on,
That's
Chris,
Pearl Jam.
Oh, you're ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pearl Jam.
You know Pearl Jam.
Is that Pearl Jam?
Yes, it is.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, he told you. Tyler, you told him, didn't you?
No, Chris didn't know.
No, I had no clue.
That
no
wasn't
clue.
Pearl Jam, was it?
It was. But Tyler told
But
us.
Tyler told us.
Before Chris knew.
Yes.
Oh, well. Anyway, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930. Obviously, we want to talk about your money. We want to talk about taxes. We also want to talk about your mom. If there's something great that your mom told you, this is a good time to wax nostalgic. Like I said, I'm very fortunate. My 92-year-old mother lives at Amberley, and she is just great. She wheels around on her scooter
beep, beep.
And terrorizes everybody over there. But I'm very thankful that I still have a mom that gave me lots of really good advice. My mom was not an easy. My mom was tough on me. I will tell you, and that's good because life is tough.
That's what I was just going to say.
Life is tough, but she is a sweetie pie, and I'm so lucky to have her. I will tell you, blessed, really. Okay, we want to talk about budgeting mistakes. Number one budgeting mistake is that people take a guess at what they spend their money and they really don't track it. A really great thing to do is track what you're spending your money on, and you'll be surprised how you might be spending $100 a month on lattes.
I was just going to say, how about the $2 coffee? You know, every time you go to Tim Hortons, you do that 3 times a day. That's $6 times 7 days a week. You know, that's $42 times 4 weeks. You're at $160.
Chris, you know what? They're, you know, the K-Cups, which are like 12
Yes.
cents, which are really a ripoff, but they're 12 cents. If you put a little cream in there and some, this is like a day like today, a little cream in there and your regular K-Cup and a little bit of Sugar Twin, and you hit the button, it comes out to be an iced coffee, and it's delicious, and it costs you 12 cents.
Oh, I like iced coffee. Yep.
Iced coffee is remarkable, but if you get it, if you get it from the drive-in, it's $1.50, so I just saved you $1.32.
Right.
Right? So
Yep.
track your money. Number 2 mistake is people don't have a nest egg. They don't have a nest or an egg.
Right.
Much less a nest egg.
I have a client of mine, and she unfortunately lost her job not so long ago, and her daughters are starting a business, and so she's cashing in her 401k to start their business. And I was like, no.
Okay, and then the worst thing is their business. You know, one of the things, one of the programs I'd love to watch is Sharks.
Right,
Shark
Tank.
Because you see some people that just and I see this all the time in business, people think they're going to do much better than they are. Business is tough, and there's all kinds of other people competing for your dollar. So when you're starting a small business, don't spend a lot of money starting a small business, because your competition is out there, and you need that nest egg to live off of.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Correct.
All right, then the other thing is overestimating your future income, just like we were talking about. People think they're going to do better tomorrow than they are today.
Right.
But unless you change what you're doing, you're going to continue to get what you got.
The definition of insanity. Right.
I mean, if you're going to keep doing what you're doing, you're going to continue to get what you got. So you got to change what you're doing.
That's correct.
And I know that sounds like a hard thing, but it really isn't. I mean, if you are every day getting up, going to do this, do that, do this, do that, and you're spending all this money, and you're not, you're going to get the same results.
I watch you do that all the time with your business. You reassess and you reevaluate and you look at what's working and what's not working. And
I do that with myself too.
Right, and change.
You always look different.
And change.
I never know what color hair you're going to get because I keep redoing me.
And my husband is fond of telling me that I suck at change, but you got to.
You got to change. I'm going to tell you got to change, because life is changing, and you better change with it, or else.
Yep.
Oh, well.
It will move on without you.
It does. It really does. Setting a budget based upon your gross income, not your after-tax income. I mean, I'm going to tell you, you may have a $50,000 salary, but after your taxes, you're down to $40,000. You can't spend the difference between the 40 and the 50. It went to FICA, state taxes, and federal taxes.
Yep. I mean, it's like when you go to buy your house and, you get pre-approved, and they're going to tell you, oh, look at your income. You can get the X amount of a house. But they don't tell you, don't forget your car payments, your student loan payments, your utility bills, your food bill,
right.
All those other expenses that you're going to have.
Right. When somebody's sitting down with us and they're thinking about retirement, we always go through all these things. And then we say health insurance. Don't forget about the health insurance that your employer is paying a portion of. And so you really have to be realistic when you're making those life changes.
And another thing, under budget, major budget mistakes, is not considering cheaper alternatives. I will tell you, there's that one commercial on TV where the girls are going to this one high-end store, and they look at the shoes and they're too expensive. Then they go to the next store, same shoes, too expensive, and then they go to a brand name discount place, and they're all smiles because the shoes are cheaper. The truth is, that is the truth. If you just go to the high-end store, you're going to pay right through the nose. But if you really have to have that brand name product, shopping around can save you a lot of money.
Yep, and same with your landline phone and your other utilities that you use at home. I mean, even with our propane, Chris and I called around until we got...
Hey, Went, right?
Yep,
Wasn't it Went?
Yep.
We were using somebody else, and it was $1.10 a gallon more.
Yeah.
And you just call around, you just save yourself $1,500.
It's not a bad thing.
But if you don't call around and you're going to pay, you're just going to pay through the nose.
Yep. I mean,
Right.
you got, and modern age, use online to your benefit. Don't be
I
afraid.
have such a hard time with my husband. I'll say, "What are you doing, Bill?" "I'm looking for the telephone book." "What for?"
I need to hold the door
Because
open.
I need to look up a phone number. Go to the computer and Google what you want.
Yep.
And I know there's many people that are a little older listening. You should really think about getting a computer. And I want to tell you, EG Tax will come in. We'll help you to get online because it's remarkable. I was telling my mom today because my brother's getting married. His first wife passed away, and he's found this other lovely lady. And my mother has to go to the wedding, and she can't walk around the stores anymore. So I Googled and got her a beautiful outfit to wear to the wedding. And she said, how did you do that? I said, Ma, I went online. I did it for you. I don't understand, but it's remarkable. The whole world is available to you.
Yep. And, one thing I want to say, too, speaking of online and all that, in 2 weeks from today, we're going to have a special guest on the show, John Dosher, part of our summer series, to talk about how to protect yourself from people stealing your identity, stealing your credit cards, your social security number. So that's going to be a great show, a very informative show. So get your question.
He's a former
federal
district
agent
attorney in Buffalo, and he's been a client of ours for years. He's a wonderful man, and that's a great time to have people listen because he will help you. He's forming a whole new kind of a side business to help people so they don't get ripped off. Identity theft. How many people have called us because those fake phone calls from the Internal Revenue Service are coming in? Like Chris told you guys last week, one of our clients gave $5,000 to somebody because they said it was the Internal Revenue, but it wasn't the Internal Revenue.
Nope.
And so John Dosher is going to help you to get really smart with that.
Yeah, and then Kathy Anderson is going to come on in a few weeks, and she's going to talk about real estate.
Value of home
Jeff Katz, estate planning.
All right, couple other things. Bad things for your credit. Too many charge cards. You don't need all those charge cards. Buying too much house, like Chris said. Spreading yourself too thin. One of the ways you can change that is to change your W-4 at work. Many people are having a lot of money just sent to the Internal Revenue in the state of New York, and they wait for a year to get it back with their income tax refund. Change your W-4. You can call EG Tax. We'll help you with that. You shouldn't have all of your money sent off to the federal government. It just ruins your budget.
Yeah, and then going back to charge cards, the interest rate that those store retail credit cards charge is just really high. And so I've watched people, actually, they'll get a no interest for 2 years, and so sometimes
that reminds here, best credit card rate, Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card is 0% for the first 12 billing cycles. Discover 0% for
and
14
pay off
months.
Those higher ones.
And the Citi Diamond Preferred card is 0%. I mean, again, you really have to get off of your keister and do something about it. I don't know if you can say keister on the radio. I think you can. But it would
Tyler
be
says yes.
The puffy part of your anatomy there, and do something about it. Because we can talk to you till we're purple in the face, but the bottom line is, if you don't do it, and I'm going to tell you, if you don't know what to do, you can call EG Tax because we'll help you to do it.
Speaking of credit cards and getting the one with the 0%, the best thing, if you do have, we'll pick on retail stores where they're charging you 24%, and you now get the Citi card or the Bank of America card at 0%, you transferred the balance over. Cut up that retail card.
Good.
Because how many people get in the trouble, I just paid this one off with this one, and next thing you know, the one you just paid off is now fully charged up again because you had the room. Cut it up, and you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, going shopping is not a good hobby.
No,
some people go shopping as a hobby. Go shopping when you need to go shopping. Don't go shopping as a hobby. Anyway, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. I know we're having a beautiful time today. It's upper 80s in Buffalo. What can be better? You can ride down the Niagara River on an ice floe for fun. I mean, it's just remarkable. But I'm going to tell you something. EG Tax is here as your advocate to help you through whatever. And we're open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Our website is egtax.com, and you can always go in there, ask a tax question, and you can ask us. We'll get back to you right away. But until next week, I'm Esther Gulius, the Tax Lady, with Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. And if you get any letters, don't pay them until you come talk to us. Have a great week. Have a warm week, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.